Hi guys, I'm going to be talking about kingdom Animalia in my subsection, which is going to be class Mammalia. The word mama at the beginning of Mammalia means breast, and lilia means blood. So you can assume that my particular animals are going to be require blood to survive, and that they're going to breastfeed their offspring. So my particular category is placenta mammals. Placenta is an organ that develops in the uterus during pregnancy that helps with the structures and provides oxygen and nutrition to the growing offspring and helps remove waste products from the uterus and the bloodstreams. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start off, I want to talk about a couple common characters that are part of this particular category. One that everyone is going to know for sure are all these. So a kitten, which most of us I bet have had at some point in our lives, elephants, pigs, pandas, cute little Rottweiler playing with the puppy, and then the baby whale and mama whale. So I do want to go ahead and put out the little boy playing with the puppy. That little boy is a human, and as we are included in this particular category, that picture is just oh so perfect. Something I do want to point out is we did talk about how the placentas are part of the uterus. Fun fact is that an elephant's gestation period sits about 20 to 22 months long. So it's almost completely 2 years long before the gestation period of an elephant is done. So my next thing is going to be about the characteristics. So the characteristics are going to be all of us are required to have vertebrae. Our young are nourished with milk via breastfeeding. We have hinged jaw, and then we all require the placenta during birth. And the last one that I found interesting is that we all have hair of some sort. Even the whale is actually born with little micro hairs that it slowly grows smaller and smaller to the point you don't actually notice it. We do house a longer gestation period than the fellow mammals in our particular category, Mammalia. Unlike some of them, they have a short gestation period and then stick to the mother in either a pack or different categories there, where we actually get out and move as soon as we're born. So there are a lot of environments and habitats that fit in this particular category. Due to the whales, we do have the ocean scene, and then most of our mammals in the placenta family are actually going to be on land, such as a cow roaming the grass fields. You'll have your giraffe roaming the safari. You have a desert fox roaming the desert, and then humans roaming a city. So we have all different sorts of habitats and environments that we kind of all interact with. So my next slide is going to be the life cycle. So for our particular subcategory, we do require sperm and eggs. That is part of using the respiratory system, using the reproductive system. I apologize. So we do require sperm and eggs in the fertilization of the egg to produce the offspring, which we are given birth to live. And then you'll pass the placenta following that, as it is part of the birthing process. So in the demonstration image I have next to it, you can see the different stages of the life cycle for a dog. So you see at the bottom, which would be our mothers and our babies. Our babies quickly grow into our puppies and up into an adolescent, and eventually into an adult where they can reproduce and create that sperm and egg to become the mother or the father of a set of puppies. With that being said, the gestation period for a dog is 2 months, which I find kind of interesting that that's that big of a gap between it and elephants. So my next category is how these animals impact us as humans. So most of us probably have had a cat or a dog as we grew up in our households. I had a pet rock, haha. But cats and dogs are part of this category, so it's going to be something that impacts us in our lives. The next one that's kind of big is actually going to be an entertainment factor. So as humans, we do entertain ourselves, and since we are in this category, we are a big portion of our entertainment. Another section of it is going to be zoos and circuses and activities like that. I bet most of us have gone to some kind of an animal show in our past. So I have a picture of a bunch of boys feeding a giraffe a piece of celery or lettuce or something. And then the third thing is actually going to be a food consumption portion. So both pigs and cows are actually part of this category, and they would produce our bacon in our hamburger that we also like to eat on our hamburgers. So that's a big portion of our dietary portion of our meals is going to be that pork or that hamburger. So we are a very complex system, and we're related to the avius class. A couple things we share is that we are both warm-blooded. We both require vertebrates. We have our heart and blood, and we care for our young, making sure that we provide them with all the nutrition they need. So I did find 2 different books. The first book I found is a children's book about the animals. Mammal is an animal. And with this book, I found it really helpful. I felt like it showed a lot of pictures and was a good book. It's kind of a little bit more on the fiction side. It kind of tells a story as it goes, but it still gives a lot of those nonfiction topics. It did point out a lot of differences between the different categories of Mammalia family and how they're different kind of animals and how they take care of their offspring, which I really enjoyed. The next book I actually own, which is The Ultimate Explorer's Field Guide from Mammals by National Geographic, and it actually just has a lot of like really interesting topics. I feel like it talked a lot about how offspring are carried, and it's kind of where I actually found the facts about the elephant's gestation period being 2 years long, and I found that really interesting and particularly cool. It also kind of gives you images and allows students to see that eye-to-eye eyesight of the animals that could actually be in that category, and a lot of other fun facts about these particular animals. So my last thing is that the actual first placenta mammal evolved between 163 million years ago and 157 million years ago, the Jurassic period, which I found kind of cool and amazing to think that it's been that many millions of years ago since the first placenta mammal was actually proven to be alive, which was super cool. Thank you for being part of my